It wasn't what he was looking for, but it turned out to be a good deal. Hi, it's Bud Wilkinson. Today we're dipping into the archives for a story about a guy who bought his classic car new nearly 57 years ago. The 1968 Dodge Coronet 500 convertible, owned by Wayne Johnson of Oxford, Connecticut, looks like it just rolled off of a showroom floor.
What you're looking at is exactly the way it came out of the factory, right down to the smallest detail.
Johnson bought the Coronet new in April 1968.
I had graduated school, I was gainfully employed, needed a car, and this is how I ended up. This is what I ended up with.
Johnson had wanted a Super B convertible, but Dodge wasn't building them at the time.
So I talked the salesman into giving me a Coronet 500 convertible, and we put everything that a Super B would have had in it in this car. The high performance 383, the 4-speed, the positive traction rear end, Hurst floor shift, 11-inch clutch, all the other things I can't remember. Then I decided that that wasn't enough, so I put bucket seats in it, an 8-track player, an automatic roof, glass rear window. There's a number of options in this thing you won't find in just about any other car. I've also got documentation that says it's one of 38, and when you add some of the other options to it, it's more than likely one-of-a-kind vehicle.
Picking options for a car was commonplace back in the day.
You could order almost anything you wanted. If it was on the list, you could add it to your car, or even take it off if you wanted a special car. There were things you could actually take away from the car. But in my particular case, I added a number of things which wouldn't have been ordinarily in a standard off-the-shelf Coronet 500.
Being only 21 years old when he got it, Johnson enjoyed its performance.
It was a rather fast car, let's put it that way, and I never got caught.
But how it got used evolved.
It was a family car, it really was. Whenever we went on vacation, we took the big car, and we could actually put 4 people plus all the everything you need to go with it in the trunk, and it was a great car to drive. And once you get on the highway, it really was a nice one.
Johnson drove it for 146,000 miles before finally parking it.
The only reason I stopped using it is the New England weather literally ate the car up. The sand, the salt, the weather, just the car just completely deteriorated. So I parked it in the garage behind me somewhere around 1980 and left it there until 2002.
At that point, Johnson began what became a 16-year restoration project.
My sons and I literally dismantled this entire car in the garage. I found out that it was well beyond anything I was anywhere near capable of doing. It was just so rusted out. I didn't realize how bad the car was. Had no floors, had no trunk floor. The hardest part, although I did spend years looking for parts, was finding the parts. Parts for a 1968 Dodge are very, very difficult to do because there weren't a lot of them made. 68 was a new model year, a new body style. People didn't like to buy those kinds of things back in the early days.
The Coronet 500 has now been back on the road for 3 years, but Johnson has clocked fewer than 2,500 additional miles.
It's very difficult. When I bought the car, I never thought that not having power steering and power brakes would be a detriment to the automobile. But here we are 50 years later, and I find it's a little more difficult than it was when I was much younger.
That's Ride Connecticut. I'm Bud Wilkinson, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe.